And good evening, everyone. Welcome to another live. Hope you guys are doing well. Well, as I said in my video back Sunday, we're back, bitches. Apparently, apparently, um, Trump, between golfing and Big Macs, signed something to give us 75 more damn days. Um, so here we are again. I guess that's good. I'm not sure how this is all going to go. Um, but we're in it, and here we go. So, just waiting for people to come in and see what's up to. As we start this, which I'm going to start, first of all, we are going to be, I'm going to be putting this up on YouTube later once we're here, once we're done tonight. And that way, if you don't catch it, we'll go from there. It's been an interesting few days. The obvious thing is the economy. That is the biggest thing we're dealing with right now. The stock market did go to hell in the beginning, and then they caught a Trumplican saying that, no. He might put back the terrorist 90 days, and they reacted again, and then they said it was fake news. That wasn't fake news. It was a tester. It was something to tell people, hey, to see what's going on. And it was basically to pump the brakes on the stock market and it didn't fall as much. So they can all go, hey, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. It really wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. It is bad. This whole economic plan of his is a disaster and a half. But we're in it. I think the biggest news right now, and I'm going to touch on a couple things, that the Supreme Court decision to allow him to have the Alien Enemies Act as he has it, a 5-4 decision, basically justifying him shipping people overseas, or out of the country or to concentration camps, because that way they don't have to do it. My hands are clean. I didn't do nothing. And the last thing I want to touch on, especially because I know I have a lot of former military in here. I want to talk about the one thing the media did not fucking ask Trump about. Why did you not show up when the soldiers who passed away in Lithuania, who got an unbelievable setup, including the president of that country, when they were returned home? Where were you? Oh yeah, you were golfing. You were golfing. You were fucking golfing. And they didn't ask him a goddamn thing about it. Not one fucking reporter asked him about that. And I want to bring that up again because that was... If you've seen the scenes of the funeral, of the return, it was heartbreaking to see those family members, crying, touching the casket, their loved ones gone, the flags being handed out. And not one fucking member of the Trump administration was there. Trump wasn't there. He was out golfing, and not a word. He didn't say a fucking word about it, okay? Not a word. So I kind of want to start there because that one is still bugging the shit out of me. And then we can move on to something else. If you like this live, please send it out. Bring some people in. I want to get this built up a little bit. We've got 75 days. I'm at 3,800 followers. I want to see if I can get to 5,000 followers. No, I didn't see Hesgeth, or maybe they ignored the drunk Flyfish. I didn't know. If you saw him, great. If I didn't see him, great. If you know what I mean. But I'm going to see who is available and wants to kind of come in and give us some perspective. If you're interested, if you want to come in, just talk. Send me a request and we'll see what we can do. Kim, how are you doing this evening?
Doing well. Yeah, I
That's
saw
good.
some of that video that you saw of the families of the the U.S. soldiers that died in Lithuania, and that was just sad. I mean, he should have been there. He should have been
He,
there.
he
He
should have been
should have
there.
golfing. He could have done that and still golfed if that's what he really wanted to do.
And what still breaks my heart about that is that no one mentioned it. And then if you saw my video, there was some guy. I made a comment. Some guy goes, well, "Why do you do Obama?" Yeah, it's easy to do Obama. He was there. He there when that happened.
He was
I
there. I
remember
think
what.
he said that he was there when
But
30 people came home from something, and he stood at attention saluting for the entire time. Obama.
yep,
Yeah.
yeah. He's the entire time. There's a video of it. Standing there over, didn't move a muscle. Was in a salute stand. But Trump, who cares? Bringing up someone I never met before. Kay Yellow,
No,
sir.
no, no, no,
How
no,
you
no,
doing?
no, 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 no.
Okay. And can you speak English? Wow, that's fun. Okay. And that was fun. Thank you for that. Not doing that again. Um. Anyway, yeah. And the thing about it that bugs me, Kim, above everything, is that the press didn't ask him a word on it. No one has asked him about it. No one has asked him about it at all. And he's just gone through the whole thing. I mean, he was with at the White House the with the Dodgers, which was upsetting to me, but
Well, he
I
also
don't know.
his golf tournament that he attended on like Thursday or Friday, wasn't that Saudi Arabia was there or something like that?
Oh yeah, the Live tournament. Yeah, that one. Well, hell, that was just damn. I just don't know what to say to that.
Well, it shows where his
Um,
priorities are.
and then the hardest thing is like he's what is everything's falling. The terrorist announcements, all that, and what does the White House put in that Trump won his golf tournament in this at his club again?
Yeah, I mean
What
that's
part
crazy.
of
Well, he's always going to
I
win.
mean
They're always going to say he won, no matter what.
I
Because
mean that's why is but we live in crazy land right now. I mean even Alice would go and I'm out. I can't do this. I
yep.
can't do this. Oh hell no. I mean to answer Laurel's question, yes, a Gold Star family did. That was during the Democratic convention that nominated Hillary Clinton, and he held out the Constitution, and they went after them hard with tooth and nail. Forgot the name of the family. They were, believe Indians. Forgive me if I made a mistake. But yeah, I mean, but it doesn't matter to him. It's just wow. But that'll pass on, and no one will say anything because the media is just so lost and it doesn't matter. But the second thing I think we need to talk about, and the economy is the economy. We're going to come in a minute. But just before about 8 o'clock today, is reported that the Supreme Court, in a 5-4 decision, upheld Trump's ability to declare the Alien Enemies Act for deportations. Before that, John Roberts had stayed the order from the appeals court to bring back that one gentleman who should not have been shipped to El Salvador, and even the Trump administration admitted it was an administrative mistake. Instead of bringing him back, they fought it. They fought it tooth and nail to the Supreme Court, and John Roberts stayed it. So that man is who should not be down there is stuck there in a hellhole. Um, at his because John Roberts just whatever. But also The Supreme Court giving him the Alien Enemies Act is not a good thing. That is a
Yeah,
bad thing.
Very bad.
Totally
I
bad.
agree. I agree. I agree.
Um,
Most definitely.
yeah, because my problem with it is, and now there's some caveats in there. Like, if you pick someone else, you have to put them in front of a judge. They have to defend themselves. They have to have a hearing. The problem is, they're not doing it now. They're not going to do it again. And it's a good bet. There all these people. They're going to start picking up people left and right. This is ridiculous.
And it doesn't matter at
Um,
this point what color your skin is. If they think you're against them, you're
Yeah.
going to stuff.
yeah, and that's the
Yeah.
hardest thing. Hi, Miss Lily. How you doing today, ma'am? Okay. But that's the hardest thing is that, as I said in
Yes.
my
Yes, it
video,
is. But
go ahead, B. I'm sorry.
yeah, what I'm saying is, I watched your video. You know, I love you, man. But when you call that man
Appreciate
the
it.
king, I'm like, oh no, come on, we can't do this. Come on,
Yeah, no,
I know you're upset. I know you are upset.
I got you, brother. But
Go ahead.
understand my point. Yeah, my point. The point is, we have three branches of the government: the legislative branch, the judicial, and
Of
the
government.
executive.
That's right. That's right.
Yes. Okay. The legislative branch
Yeah.
has basically given up because the Republicans are letting him do what he wants. And the judicial branch, even though it's trying, the highest court is giving him what he wants. They have capitulated to his will. And that's what I'm saying. If one man, the executive branch, can do it all, we don't have, I mean, what do you call that? I mean,
I understand.
other than a
I understand
monarch.
completely. Because when I found out about it myself, I'm like, oh man. But then you know what? I thought about, first of all, these Supreme Court judges that he put, they have a lifetime. That's one thing that needs to be changed as well. That
Right.
lifetime thing with them. But I understand, that was his friend. I knew that was potentially gonna happen because I'm like thinking, okay, he was gonna run, which he did. But I'm hoping, even though that I don't know, we as the people, we've got to do more. We've got to push the Democrat. I don't know what it is going to take, but we've got to do more to stop him from like he's winning, but he's not. But it seems like he's winning because he goes against one court and go to another like a kid. When your
Right.
mom tells you no, you go to your dad. Your dad say, "Okay, son." It's just like that. What he's doing with tit for tat, it's got to be
And
stopped.
the problem is that Grandpa, being the South Supreme Court, is giving him anything. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
that's the
right.
problem. Grandpa's like, yeah, whatever. Let him
Yeah,
play with the gun. I don't care. It's tough because you're us in our minds. We're not legal minds or scholars, but we know what he's doing is not right. It's unconstitutional. There is no due process. And like I said in the video, if he decides you're an enemy of the state, I mean, what's next? I mean, that's how it starts. Now, the one
it's
thing I
kind of
will
like he
say,
already has. He already has pushed
yes,
that button. Whoever disagrees with him, if you come against him, a foreigner, whatever, and you in a
mhm,
college or whatever, you speak against him, he will have them come and arrest you. You don't know who coming to get you. You know,
that's
it's crazy.
scary because ICE is gone blank, and people coming into this country. There was apparently another case of that. An Australian MMA instructor came through and was arrested by ICE
Mm,
or interrogated,
yeah,
arrested until he was finally released and deported because there's no reason why. There's no reason why. They
I
just
don't.
did it.
Yeah, they
I
need to
mean,
They're just using. They're going. Hey, they're going wild. Just using power because they have it
it
right now.
the issue. Yeah, yeah, and the problem, and that's the thing. You give him more power. Now, one thing I will give it: one of the senators from Hawaii, has blocked um, a whole bunch of Trump nominees, close to like 400. Um, Now that was something that that Chuck Schumer said he was going to do, but he never did. But now this one Hawaiian senator has blocked close to 410 Trump nominees. Thank the Almighty Lord, there's someone doing something finally in the Senate. But
I'm
the
glad
other
of
thing
that.
we have, yeah, and now the other thing we have to talk about that came back to me is that the SAVE Act. The SAVE Act is making its way through the House. It might pass. There's been some parliamentary shenanigans trying to keep it from going to the floor. But the problem with the SAVE Act, it's going to guarantee if you're a married woman and you can't vote, because if your name doesn't match the birth certificate, you can't vote. That's not good. And to top it all off, in that bill, you cannot vote unless you have a passport.
Yeah, for women, you can't.
And
Right.
Passport has um, already been used, or the documentation, the birth certificate, the driver's license, whatever you presented, has already been used to get you that passport. So you've already used multiple types of identification to get it.
yeah, and so they're just, because this is just overkill because they're trying to keep people from voting. It should get to the House. The problem is if it gets through the Senate. I'm hoping the Senate has some more common sense, but who
Right.
knows?
Well, it also,
Um,
hurts people who live in rural areas that can't get to vital records to get the information that they need, the documents they need. And another thing that's in there is it's saying that, I believe it's saying that military has to come home to vote. They can't vote.
yes, you have to
Right.
come home. You cannot vote. And it's like, are you kidding me? And they're down with it because it's going to help them.
Yeah.
Hi, Miss Lily. How you doing?
I'm good.
Okay.
I would have to get my name changed because I kept my husband's name whenever I divorced. So my name doesn't match my birth certificate.
Yeah. And
And
mine's the same
that was
way.
one thing, was saying that a lot of seniors, widowers, are not going to be able to vote because their name, they kept their spouse's name, and it's sad.
Right.
And how much of this is, how much for us, how much of that is going to be, um, it, we know it's a calculated thing, but they sell it as election security, and people buy it. I just don't know. I mean, they're just going out of the way, little by little, slowly just chunking the rights we have away.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that just encompasses a lot more people than a lot of people realize when you take the military that's overseas and throw them in there, and people in rural areas that can't get to those vital records office, whether regardless of whether they're male or female. You know.
Right, and it's going to be, and that's what I was saying, is that it's hard when the judicial is against you. What do we do next? And I mean, I know what the French did. I mean, are we going to get to that point? I mean, I don't know, because everything seems to fall for an incompetent man that is Donald Trump. Damn, nothing seems, you can't seem to get to him. It's
Well,
crazy.
it all really started to fall apart when the Supreme Court gave him immunity to everything. Everything.
Right.
There's that.
Yeah, and
But
that was the
even
snow. Go ahead,
all
man.
of the lawsuits against him and the six
Miss Lily, your mic is going.
Yeah, you're like you're a Mike, Miss Lily
I
is
was
is
saying that
going. There you go.
that with like the January 6th accusations and everything else that he's been accused of, hell, he was impeached. How in the Sam hell did he even run for election? He's been
There's two
impeached.
parts. Yeah, it's two parts to impeachment, Miss Lily, and that's the bad thing. The House is the one that basically puts up the charges and everything like that, but then the Senate has to vote to indict him, and if they don't vote to indict him, there's nothing there. He's been impeached, but he's not removed from office, and basically it's as if he isn't guilty, basically, because they haven't put the indictment through, voted to indict him and put him out of office.
Yeah, the
Right.
thing
So
though is,
that's what I was saying
yeah,
is that he's just slippery.
yeah, and then, well, also he gets defense from people you wouldn't. I mean, going back to that is Mitch McConnell before he went la la land. He had an opportunity to end him in the Senate. He could have done it, but he didn't want to do it because he was worried. He thought he controlled him politically, and his point, the court was going to take care of him. Well, the court didn't take care of him because, unfortunately, and I'll bring this up to the day I die, Merrick Garland looked at what he did not as criminal, but as political, and treated it as a political problem. And that's why
Right.
we are where we are. The French got rid of Marie Le Pen the other day. She was convicted of embezzlement, and she was convicted, and they said you can never serve again in office or run for office. Finally. But we don't do that there because we look at this as a political act, not a criminal act. Eddie, how you doing?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good.
And how's the state of Texas? Is it still there?
Yeah, surprisingly. um, I mean, we're definitely not doing things any brighter than anybody else. I'll just be polite about it in that sense. Uh, I've got people just on this app who are friends who are liberal who are doing stupid shit. I don't understand why people don't get what's happening. I had a post about the market and somebody said, yeah, I sold and then I bought back. And I'm like, no, it's going to keep dropping. Stop it.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah, that was they think they're gaming the system. No, this there's two things about that. The one thing, like you said, the market would have kept diving if that Trump official hadn't said about the 90 days. That was a calculated thing. That was done on CNBC to pump the brakes. And then after they denied it, it dropped again. And yeah, there's going to be some people picking up bargains, but that's good and minor compared to the market. And the other argument I heard all fucking weekend from Trumplicans was, well, 90% of the people on the market, I mean, why are you worried about it? You don't have money in the market. Individually? No. Through my institution, who runs my 401k? Yes. And 160 million people have that. And that's affected them. And for you to tell people, don't worry about it, or as the Treasury Secretary said, people who are near retirement or retired don't worry about their money or don't care, please.
I mean, that's their
They're
life.
trying to, yeah, they keep trying to sell us a lie. And I don't know, I guess it's the old adage, if you say the lie enough, it becomes the truth.
Yeah,
Yes.
well,
If they
they'll
say it
believe it.
enough.
The
I
MAGA,
well,
mean,
the
they'll
other thing
believe
that
it.
makes sense to me
Hold
is
on.
the people working directly for Trump. I understand that they're doing it because they have to twist themselves in knots to stay on his side. I get that. It's nasty. But everybody else, what the hell?
They don't, it's true. I don't know what to tell you. It's embarrassing because the thing, let's talk about the whole source of this bullshit, tariffs. Okay? And Trump was
Yeah.
just basically in this fucking world and this is how they're selling it. A negative trade deficit means that you're taking advantage of the United States and we need to have a positive trade deficit. It doesn't work like that. It never works like that. It has nothing to do with the American Treasury or taxes. It's just the way you do business, and then you it's hard to explain. These people are just lost. But he's selling it. God damn, he's selling it.
Well,
JD, what's
it
up?
hasn't hit anybody yet with the money part of it. Yes, we have the tariffs out there, but we're not seeing it at the stores. We're not seeing it at the
It's
auto.
Yeah,
it's
that's right.
gonna take a couple weeks to actually feel it.
Right.
But once they start feeling it, they're just gonna be whining and bitching like no one's business.
Yes. And I also think that a lot of people are one issue people. So they see the one issue that they feel is important to them. And yeah, okay, so that issue isn't going quite the way we want it to, but it'll fix itself eventually. And they don't see the big picture of all the things that are going wrong. They're not catching all of it. And it's an accumulation of everything that he's doing. And that's some of the things that we're going to have to see that he's doing. And that's some of the things that we're going to have to start focusing on at some point. It's not just the tariffs. It's not just
Right.
things that are getting passed that shouldn't be. It's not just how the immigrants are being treated. There's more to it. It's all of it together.
And the incompetency is how we're being run.
Yes.
And then the Chinese hit back, and now he wants to put another fit. It is just, it's like watching a child throw a fit. I
It's a
don't.
pissing contest.
But the thing about it, Europe isn't. He's afraid. He's thinking that eventually they're going to quit. That Europe is not is. The rest of the world's going to capitulate because they need us. I don't know. Watching the
They don't though.
Chinese. Yeah, watching the Chinese, the South Korean, the Japanese trade ministers shaking hands, and I'm going, oh my God.
But I thought I saw something today that said that he was actually negotiating with Japan. That we were sending
Yeah.
people over there, that they were negotiating with Japan. Even the thought of
Negotiate what?
well, even the thought of that's scary. That so a country would to go ahead and negotiate over this stuff. You know,
That's what he wants. He thinks that if he gets them to negotiate, is that it'll make him, it'll make him feel powerful. That's the thing. Trump likes people to come to him. It's his ego, and it's stupid because to me the president should be to an extent like an umpire in a baseball game. I don't want you to know that you're there. I just want everything to go well, if that makes sense, and step up when you need it. But I mean that's just it. I'm at a loss because I see what's coming, but no one else does. They're just, I mean, there's like, okay, cool, the train's coming. Ooh, I'll just sit here and see what happens. Train's coming to kill you guys. Gonna run your ass over. It's coming.
I don't think they care anymore, man. I don't know. Something's going on with them.
Well, and it brings me to the other thing is that this weekend we had all those protests. That was nice. I mean, it took me 20 minutes to get out of Atlanta because they were around the state capitol. But what does that mean now?
I mean, I did
Honestly, what does it mean?
I
It means
did
we do it again and we do it again and we do it again.
exactly, but I did see more coverage of it on mainstream media than I had before.
It's getting to the point. It's getting to the size to where they can't ignore it anymore because it's just too big.
Now, they were saying there was an accumulation of at least 5 million people nationwide that protested in different cities.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what? Because the point I'm saying is that's great, you protest, but what's your next steps? Are you going after your legislator? Are you doing something locally? Are you calling your congressman or senator to tell them, hey, what the hell's wrong with you? My biggest concern still will be, yeah, I did it, check. All right, I'm done. I mean, that's my biggest fear. And how many of those are out there who didn't vote? How many of those are out there who voted for Jill Stein?
Right.
You know, and it's I mean, I'm not disparaging. I'm glad they went out. I'm glad. I mean, you saw it made an effect. You see that idiot, that MAGA idiot in Indiana?
Yeah, that's the one who got out of the truck and his wife was there and
With the
he had a
gun,
gun
the
and all
assault
that.
rifle, yeah.
I heard
Yeah,
about that. Yeah.
and he got headbutted.
Yep.
Oh, that's why
he
the
got
blood
hit.
was, yeah.
And
Yeah,
they
because he went up to someone who had a hood, and then he got in their face, and they went wham, and he fell back, and that's when he went back and get the weapon. but he didn't do
Well,
anything. They arrested him, but they can't find the person that headbutted him, and everyone's going, "Did you see? See what? See what? I didn't see nothing." I mean, that was ridiculous because just let them do their thing, but they're just so. I mean, they're just mad all the time.
Well, didn't
Yeah.
they
It's
check,
our turn to be.
didn't
Go
they
ahead.
check his ID and say that he had a permit to carry?
Yeah, but not to pull it on unarmed people.
Right, but he did have a permit to carry. So initially, they weren't going to do a whole lot.
I mean, it's Indiana. I don't expect much. I mean, to be honest,
Yeah.
but I mean But again, what's that translate into? Because there's still, and I'll say this, and B, I guess you can address this. There's still a lot of black creators just still pissed off. They don't want anything to do with this, and they feel insulted because a lot of people were saying they're protesting for marginal folks, which to them, and I would have to agree, sounds racist unto itself. I mean, we don't need your help because you didn't give us your help on November 5th. And that's the thing. There's still a divide, a huge trust divide at this point. And trust me, I'm in that boat. Because come November 5th, I can't trust voters. I can't do it. I mean, Wisconsin to me was an aberration. Florida showed it's still the same, if that makes sense.
For the most part, I mean, I'm glad that the margin was smaller than it had been during the actual election in Florida. But it, like you said, it still was not what it needed to be.
No, it's not, and that's where we're kind of at, and things are like still snowballing up. Um, well, I mean, we talked about the military issue. I mean, I don't know what's next. That's what bothers me more and more each day. What's next
Well,
from these guys?
they're still trying to erase history. I was just watching the whole thing with Harriet Tubman and her information being removed from the parks information due to the Underground Railroad because a lot of her sites are handled under the Parks Administration. So they pulled a lot of her information and then had to go around and put it back in because so many people protested today or spoke out about it today. So they're still trying to erase history. Um,
So I'm sorry, Harriet Tubman, because why?
they a lot of her Underground Railroad sites are part of the Parks Administration. They're
Right.
maintained under that. So they went ahead and pulled out all of the information about her and the Underground Railroad and such from the websites. And then because there was so much backlash for that, they had to turn around and almost immediately put it back in. So they were trying to erase that part of history, the Underground Railroad and Harriet Tubman and what she did, the good that she did and all that. But the backlash was so bad that in one day they had to put it back in.
And TJ has joined us. How you doing, TJ? My favorite union member.
I've been better. I've been better.
Oh God.
I lost $35,000 in my retirement annuity, so
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I know.
not doing real fucking good.
But the Treasury Secretary said you don't care. You're fine.
I kind of fucking care, actually.
I know.
And Elon's $5,000 fucking check ain't gonna make up for it. So I'm just saying.
Oh God.
I haven't got my
You know,
George Soros check yet.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: Trump was talking. They caught him on that airplane doing one of his rants about trade, and he said that look, in a year we're going to get $1 trillion back to the U.S. Motherfucker, you lost
who?
$6 trillion today.
$1 trillion for who though?
Exactly.
Oh, for him.
Yeah, it's not gonna
This-
go to. It's not going to us.
I mean, what? I mean, I used that compare. What was that movie? Because it keeps bugging me. The one with Joe Pesci, the gangster film, Goodfellas. There it is.
Oh,
Goodfellas.
you're the
And
you're,
good.
you're the fucking you're the movie master, Will. You're the movie
Yeah.
master.
But a lot of it is good samples because, like, if you remember, they forced that guy to sign the bar over to him, right? And
That's
then
correct.
they ordered all this stuff by credit, and and they didn't pay the bills, and they sold it, later. And then when they were done, they burned the bar to the ground. That's America right now. I mean, he's burning the bar to the ground right now. He's spending all our money. We're getting nothing for it. I mean, we're being run like a plot out of a Martin Scorsese film, for God's sake, at this point. But I mean, and it goes back to what I said, what are our options? What do we do? I mean, the protest is nice, but the economy is still taking a shit. I mean, how much more do we take at this point? I mean, I'm at a impasse with this because I'm just looking. I'm going. I'm literally want to get marshmallows, chocolate, and graham crackers because the fire is pretty good right now. It's
Well, I was
burning.
going to say something about leaving the country, but people are having a hard time doing that. So I don't know. I mean, I really don't know.
Yeah, but that doesn't change anything if you're invested in the market.
No, and that's the thing. And to listen to the Trump talk about it doesn't matter in the stock market. It does matter because remember they took pensions away and became this 401k thing because companies didn't want to take that on to guarantee that money.
Right.
And now you're telling us, hey, it doesn't matter. It does matter.
It's
It
called
does matter.
it's
Go
called
ahead.
it's called unfunded liability. That's what they're trying to avoid. Is that
Right.
if the pension is insolvent, the company is liable for making up the difference of the insolvency, which in my case is not even anywhere near the truth. My pension's 107% funded, 107. But
Well,
that's why they try to get away from it. Corporations didn't want to be on the hook in case if the market goes bad. Pensions are diversely invested if the trustees are smart. So you'll be invested in some bonds, real estate, and then of course stocks and what have you. But if they invest poorly and they get some risky investments and the market takes a shit like it is right now, you'll end up with underfunding long term. So that's why corporations try to destroy the pensions because they didn't want to be on the hook to pay for it.
yeah, and
Which
Reagan helped them
Oh, of course
during
he
that
did.
time.
And that's why it sucks now. I mean, it just sucks. Like there isn't any. There's hardly any jobs anymore that have a pension. The one of the ones, really the ones I can only think of now, is the building trades unions. They still have pensions. The Teamsters still have pensions.
Yes,
And Joe
I'm pulling
Biden
one.
and Joe Biden helped the Teamsters, and they helped fix the Teamsters pension. It was in dire straits. It was going to collapse in like less than 10 years, and Joe Biden stepped up and said, "Hey, we'll help you." And they righted the ship. It's not totally fixed, but they got it moving
No,
in the right direction. So it
it,
sucks anymore.
yeah, and the thing about it is that they're starting to, I, from a union standpoint and from a worker standpoint, if you're supporting Donald Trump as a union member, you should turn in and just quit. You're a scab.
Yeah.
And did I really hear that Sean Vane thought that was a good idea about the tariffs on foreign cars?
Well,
And
Sean Fain is a fucking idiot, and I'm tired of him. He's the same motherfucker that got up there and he coined that whole thing. Donald Trump is a scab, and then the guy that did it turned around and fucking licked the boot. You know what I mean? Fuck Sean Fain.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
He doesn't understand. Well, he probably does understand, but it's probably like some sort of self-preservation for his own position. But like all these parts that are made in Mexico and Canada for Ford and all these other companies, the prices of that shit's going to skyrocket. So in turn, the price of the automobile is going to increase. So less people are going to purchase vehicles now.
And it
So
doesn't,
how
it
do
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where they're made, who the company's owned by. some part of a vehicle is made outside of the United States.
What I'm getting at is
Yep.
that it's not helping the UAW's market share by
Nope.
siding with Trump. It's not helping their market share. It's actually the opposite. And Sean Fain is an asshole for doing that.
And I watched Stephen Miller. I caught a bit of Stephen Miller, which I then had to go wash my hands and face once I did. And he was talking about, well, you don't see American cars in Europe. They don't see like in Britain and France American cars. Okay, now let me kind of help you, dude. Okay, because I'm in the insurance business. If there's a car made in another country and it comes back to the United States, it usually can't be registered because it doesn't meet certain modifications that we have in the U.S. that we need. Also, there is no way you're fitting a freaking Tahoe through some of the streets in France and Italy.
London
It doesn't
even.
work. Yeah, and also their mixture of gas is different than the mixture of gas here in the United States. Also, gas is like 4 times the price over there. So they have little cars. Why? Because it's cheaper for them. And it's just that
No.
ignorance. That's the ignorance they're selling us.
Will, stop telling the truth, man.
Oh yeah, I know.
Because,
But see,
Handle the
but
truth around here.
yeah,
people's heads are going to explode if you keep telling the truth.
but yeah, but the thing about it is, it's like, when did that? How dumb did we become? Did we become that dumb in
Yes.
less than 20 years?
Yes.
Wow. I guess so.
Is that a rhetorical
I mean,
question or fucking
yeah, I
what?
guess. I mean, and also like if you're watching live, press the like button because then I get in the FYP. I learned that, and that'll help
No.
build up. So
And
I guess
I think the question is too, when did we ever need a king? Why do the people want somebody to help them? I don't understand it, man.
Well, we got rid of that
They're
shit.
afraid to stand.
We got
I
rid of
don't
that
know.
shit for a reason, man.
Well,
Yeah.
we keep using the term king. He's not a king. He's becoming a dictator. In most countries,
Yeah,
they're
that's true.
just figureheads. You know, they have
And
a parliament in the UAE. Come on,
Well,
England has a
yeah.
parliament.
I wouldn't call the king of Saudi Arabia a figurehead by any stretch of the imagination. But
No.
generally, I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that too. But you're talking about places like England. Their king is a figurehead.
Well,
Yeah.
it's figurehead, and I get it. It's just that it's the ultimate when when they brought the Constitution together, the executive branch was not designed to be ultimate power. That's what they did not want. They lived through that. And for some reason, they keep saying, all the Project 2025 people keep saying they want to go back to the original intention of the Constitution. But that was the original intention of the Constitution. And they keep selling this other bullshit. Mr. Suave, I see you're in. Hey, I wanted to check something here because I was thinking about you the other day when I was watching what was going on with the soldiers coming over Lithuania. I thought you said you were a Vietnam vet. Am I wrong or right?
I'm not a Vietnam vet, but I was in Lebanon in 1983 when they bombed.
Oh my God. You were?
Yes.
I'd lost a high school friend in that bombing. He was a Marine. Name was Donnie Valone. He was in the barracks that got blown up.
Yeah,
I remember
was on
that.
the fourth floor in the back. And that's the only reason I made it, because I was in the back.
And so the thing I want to bring up is I don't know why I thought of you when I was watching that, and then whoever's what did you I mean Trump's attitude, what did you think? I mean, what was your feeling? I mean, I didn't, I'm not a military member, but I was hot, the best to describe it.
It's, I don't know. It's like I'm disappointed in America. I guess I have to say.
Yeah.
It's like, how the hell could we do this? How the hell did we end up in this mess? And that's all it is a big frickin' mess.
Yeah. So the ladies in. Hi, Miss C Temptation. How you doing, C?
Hey, Will, what's going on? What's going on, panel? I'm
Much.
sorry, I just got off the Zoom meeting. It ran over a little bit late. I'm sorry about
No, I
that.
understand. No,
Yeah,
I was gonna, and just no offense. I didn't mean to offend you, but I remember you said something like that, and I just
yeah,
the only
because I
thing that
mean,
I
when you
could.
said it, I was like, it was like early this morning. I was like, oh,
But you said
I'm
something
like, I
similar because
remember
it's stuck in my
saying
head. It's stuck in my head. You said something similar, and all I kept thinking about was it's raining men because when they start jumping out of windows, it will be.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Hey, it
um,
Don't
happened last time
tell Eric it's raining, man.
back then, and yeah.
oh God.
Like,
And the thing about it, I said that, and I got like almost 1,000 hits on it. I'm like, okay, I
You
guess
gotta be
everyone's down with it.
kidding me. Oh,
No,
wow.
it did. But the thing about it is like the one thing about we're talking about the market, and TJ was
Yeah.
talking about his pain. They're doing margin calls on hedge funds, and a margin call is a bad damn thing. And people are going to lose a lot of money in that sense
Or
and
you
lose a
talking about
lot
the
of
stock
jobs.
market?
Yeah, I'm talking about hedge funds, margin calls.
Wow.
That's not good
that's
when
That
you
why
have
is
a
so
margin
sad.
call.
we converted all
And
our
so,
accounts to gold.
Well, let me ask you a question. I saw a video this morning which I
mhm,
was kind of contemplating on this. I wasn't for sure where it was a creator that said that Donald Trump was trying to attempt to try to create some sort of something, a march or something with the military on his birthday on June 14th, and it was a black creator. He
18th.
was saying about creating, fuck Donald Trump Day, and I was like, I don't know about that because it's the
Eh,
taxpayers that's paying for his march or his activity, and then you got to pay that, and then other people gonna be paying and having these barbecues and cookouts. I'm like, I'm not sure about that.
Hey, listen,
Yeah,
listen.
no, go ahead, TJ.
We can have a fuck Donald Trump day on Flag Day. Y'all can come to my house. I'll fucking have a huge fucking party.
I'm
Fuck
just going to
Donald
say it
Trump Day.
straight
I'll
up.
be back.
Every day for me when I wake up is thank God, our Father, and fuck Donald Trump. Amen. I mean,
Hmm.
every day for me. But yeah, to answer your question, see, it wasn't a creator. I caught that on a feed from I want to say political or some one of the news
Political?
feeds. Yeah, it was on news feed basically saying
Yeah.
January 18th he wants a military march parade for his birthday
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm
That's
like, and
because
then he had
that's
said, I think somebody else said that the taxpayers are going to be paying for,
bro.
that activity, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
That's some fucking Kim Jong Un shit right
Yes,
there.
it
it's
is.
I
exactly
think
Kim
we should
Jong
give
Un.
them a
Yep.
parade. I think we
Yeah,
should
because
give them a
I felt a
parade
little
with
bit off after that.
pitchforks and
I was like,
torches.
that's like money being spent on top of money where people don't have that, and it just doesn't make sense to me.
And he came up with this idea during his first administration because he went to France during Bastille Day.
Uh
Now
huh.
Bastille Day they have a military parade because that makes sense. It's Bastille Day.
Okay.
I mean that's basically French Independence Day.
Mm-hmm.
But so he came back, and I never forgot this because Mark Milley was joint chairman at the time. He came back and demanded he wanted a military parade. Okay, and they looked at him like they told him we can't do it. He goes, I want tanks and everything. He said, we can't do it because if you roll tanks across Constitution Avenue,
It'll
the
ruin it.
M1s will collapse the pavement.
Yeah, it'll
Yeah,
destroy
that's
the.
just that's stupid to me. It's like, why would he do that?
Because he wants them to stand. He wants to stand there. Whether if you've seen those parades, what do they do? Whenever you're at the stand, everyone turns their head and salutes. Correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Mm-hmm.
that's your thing. He wants that. He needs this adulation. He needs this confirmation. The biggest problem with Donald Trump, let's be honest, we're still dealing with fucking daddy issues because he wasn't loved enough in his life. I hate being to being some kind of psychotherapist. It is true. Everyone loves to be adulation. Everyone wants some recognition. Trust
Oh,
me. When I see something go to like 500 views, I'm going yes, but I'm not. He's out of his mind. I'm sorry, JD. Go ahead.
My question is, he wants to have this parade and all that, and he wants to stand there and salute and have people salute him. But my question is, how long can he really stand there without shitting his pants?
Oh, dude,
It doesn't. Hey, JD.
we have to have
Yeah.
spare diapers on hand.
It
Oh
doesn't
my
it doesn't
God.
matter. The diaper's full all the time, man.
You know, I just had a
You finally
really
got to
bad
change the
image
damn thing every 2 hours.
when you said that, JD. I thought of an F1's pit stop. So like every 2 hours they have to close the thing. There's like an F1 pit stop. They change him and they roll him back out.
Oh, like
Oh my
That is
God.
funny.
have an elevator under the dais with the changing.
Yes,
station. Yeah. So you
exactly.
Hey,
him, and he's like good to go.
let me tell you guys something. The only stock that's not crashing right now is Depends.
Oh no! Are they Procter and Gamble?
I think so.
Good one. That was good. I like that. That was good.
And
Hell
if all
no.
the tariffs, I want to ask the biggest question of all the tariffs. He hit every country, including 2 islands in Australia that have penguins on them. But why did he miss Belarus and Russia?
Well, he's an asset. What do you expect?
That's
It's just
crazy.
Well, I know why. Because there's sanctions on those countries right now. And so I think the long-term plan is to cut the European Union out, and then they can go back and say, hey, Russia is in an economic downturn, so we'll trade with Russia and Belarus to make up the difference from the tariffs. That's what they want to do. It's to prop up Putin in the long term.
Oh, so we can buy Russian
That's
cars
what I was
that
going to
don't work?
ask.
Yes.
so we're going to be Yugoslavia 1978.
And those were
Get a
hey, man,
Yugo.
those cars were fucking great. What are you talking about?
Those little matchbox cars, you know.
Bro, that car dealership here lasted 5 minutes.
Oh,
And it was fucking gone.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
oh
You
y'all.
can tell how old I am, how old most of us are, if we remember when I used to drop the Yugo line on everyone.
Hell,
Although,
Russians
God
still
almighty,
build two-stroke cars.
Well-
Yeah.
well, the Ukrainians know about their tanks, so they're not real good. So we knew they found out their tanks can do well in combat. But that brings us all. I mean, so it kind of comes down to what I was talking about when we started this, with the protests and everything. Now what? Because we had the Supreme Court just confirming the Alien Enemies Act, which is a scary thought. I mean, what's left other than full-blown protest and resistance? Because the judicial just threw in the towel, in my mind, right now.
You know what, Will? Because that was going to be one of the questions I was going to bring up on my show, where the question I was going to address, okay, everybody protested, they was trying to, make a big statement. I'm not knocking that. That's fine and well. The main question I had is, where were these protesters back on November 5th, though? I mean, people was out there, was supposed to go out and vote. Where were they at on election day? Where do we go now, though? I mean, now that
They were voting for
protests are
Trump.
over.
They were voting for Trump. That's what they were.
A lot of people didn't
No,
vote.
Yeah, a lot of some.
yeah,
You know,
36% didn't vote.
Because I had
But
this
still,
research,
but the
and I
ones that
found out
didn't
in
vote,
Chicago, it was 30,000 protesters that participated, which I'm not knocking that. It's a good thing, but
yeah.
I'm looking beyond that point. What is the next steps now?
Now that's a good question. Good question.
Okay.
That is.
I was going to bring that up on my show. I might bring it up again, maybe if not tomorrow,
Yeah.
then Wednesday, whenever I get approved for this age requirement.
Right. Yeah. So, but you, like again, see, you with a lot of black creators and what I'm seeing right now, they're not down with this. It's a lot of them are are a little angry because the theme of it was protect marginal people, and they felt okay. Well, I'm not marginalized. I don't need your help. I mean, and it seemed insulting to a lot of people.
Yeah, because the difference is because back when our ancestors was marching and protesting, I mean they had police coming out, they had the dogs and all this stuff, but everything flipped though. I mean when they did the protest on Saturday, for what I heard, they said a lot of people was out there protesting. It was peaceful
Yeah.
and and there wasn't no issues. And I'm like, wow, really? And the only thing we just did, I mean me, I just fell back.
Somebody's dog's losing their shit. Hopefully, they're eating a Trumplefuck.
I'm sorry, that's mine.
That's
I'll
okay,
mute
Miss
my
Lily.
mic.
No,
I
that's
wanted
cool.
to
We're
know
good.
how
Go on, Miss Lily.
many of those people who didn't vote were actually gerrymandered. Has anybody looked into that?
No,
That's
I
an
don't
You
know.
mean
That's
gerrymandered that their vote wouldn't
their
matter?
their district was
No,
gerrymandered.
gerrymandered that they couldn't vote.
Oh, you mean
Oh,
Suppressed or whatever. Yeah.
I think
there?
that,
You
if
mean
I'm not
Yeah.
you mean
mistaken, Miss
voter
Lily, I think he
suppression?
changed that where it's like
Right.
it's saying on
You're
your
right.
state
I do.
ID and birth certificate, and you have to have the same last name and all this stuff. And if you're married, then you can't vote. And I'm like,
Well,
what kind of stupid shit is this?
you mean you mean
yeah.
you mean voter suppression, not gerrymandered. Gerrymandered something different.
Right.
Right.
So
Ger-
as
You're
far as
right.
actually voting,
Gerrymandered is when
women's
when your
votes.
district is drawn in a way that's conducive to one party or the other.
Kind of like mine.
Yeah, and mine's
But
gerrymandered too.
they pull other stuff like in some specific areas they'll only have one poll open and they'll limit the hours and people can't get to it and there's so many people in line they don't get up there to vote before they have to close the poll.
Right.
So there's
Right.
that too.
Yeah,
And you
that
know what? And I had
Yeah.
another issue, which I got to call Board of Elections in Chicago on this. Because when I voted back in November, I voted. They sent me a ballot in the mail, and I voted from home. And I'm not sure if this is accurate or not, but I think they're trying to eliminate that. And I'm like, that's not right.
It's like everybody in Washington votes by mail.
Right. Because you got to think about the seniors, the disabled people with health conditions, who can't actually go to the voting polls, and that's the second option is, voting, mailing the ballot at home and voting from home and taking it or mailing it directly to them, and that's it.
Yeah, we just fill out our ballots and they have special boxes all over the place. You drive up, you drop it in the box, and life is
Go on
good.
home. That's it.
Drop it in the box, and life is
Go on
good.
home. That's it. I'm just really
And
surprised
this,
that they haven't came up with the idea about making an option where people could vote online.
I think
you
if
know,
you can make that secure,
I don't think that'll be
then
too
I
good
think
because
that would be a way to
Elon will
go.
be.
But like you said, when you mentioned Elon, I said, okay, that's another story.
Well, when you vote by
yeah,
mail, you get your ballot, and it has a barcode on it that
Right,
identifies you. So when it goes
right.
back, then that can be scanned, and it's not like they're flooding the ballot boxes like people are saying. That doesn't happen, because if they are putting stuff in there, they don't have the barcode necessary to actually be counted.
yeah. Now, this was not a problem. All the things you just described were things we were doing for decades until Donald Trump lost the 20 election. And then all of a sudden, it was a problem. And now they're still trying to solve the 20 election. Hell, he's still trying to litigate the 20 election
And I
because
don't
his
see what's
feelings
wrong
are
with
hurt.
hell. This is 2025. Like I was saying on a couple of live shows ago, that Trump's mentality is that he's living in the past. He's not focusing on what's going on today is concerned. His mind is like back from 5 years on and beyond. And it's sick to me. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's beyond 5 years. I mean,
Well, I was
the
just
the
using that as,
economic plan
to
he
call out a
has,
number. That's all.
yeah, the economic plan that he has is based on something that I mean, I got a good schooling about the depression from someone who talked about what Calvin Coolidge did during his administration, which is similar to what Republicans have done for years, which is cut taxes for the rich, and then they had tariffs. And then when Hoover came in and did the extra tariffs, that just kind of tipped the whole thing over.
Right. I
That's what
remember I
caused
read
the
that.
Great Depression.
Yeah.
But they keep talking about prior to 1913, before the income tax was instituted, that we ran this country on tariffs. No, we did not run this country on tariffs. It didn't work like that. Taxes, I mean, it was just, it's the ignorance that we're dealing with right now is insane. Rachel Maddow put out a great piece on where Peter Navarro came from. That's his main economic advisor and the tariff guy. He was found through a book search by Jared Kushner because he was looking for, because Trump needed an economic advisor. So Kushner looked for a book that sounded good, and he had some book about anti-China terror, anti-China trade. So he looked up Navarro, who's not an economist. He's nothing but a hack. And that's
Yeah,
what
I
we're
saw a
based
video
on.
about that though. That shocked me. I was like, what in the hell? I mean, switching all the letters and stuff, and ooh.
And now I'm seeing in JD, maybe because you're in the farming business, I'm seeing those videos of MAGA losing their farms. That's starting to come to fruition, isn't it?
Oh
I'm
yeah,
seeing a lot of those.
yeah, yeah. And
I mean, what's. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
it's crazy to me too that a lot of the farmers, at least around here, seem to still be bought in. I don't get it.
But, I mean, China is not buying soybeans. What are they doing with that? They're sitting doing nothing. I mean, it's. Economics is a complex thing, but it's real easy to kind of figure out. You trade, you get stuff, they get your stuff, everyone gets along, we try to build, everyone gets jobs. It's pretty simple. But you do an economic collapse, no one has a job. Nothing gets done.
And
And
this
I
is
they
think
keep
all
that's what he
saying,
based
wants.
around Donald Trump and his administration. And I'm like, and I was kind of thinking about that this morning. I'm like, I don't understand, why is it that Trump has so much hatred in his heart, in this sense of evilness, and he just don't believe that his karma's not going to catch up with him, because what you put out there to the universe is going to come back to you. And it's like, how can that one individual have so much hatred for various of people in America? I don't understand it.
You ever seen Grinch?
No.
Okay, he was mad at everybody because of when he was younger in school. I don't know, because he wasn't a popular kid. So growing up,
And going back to what I said a
got
few minutes
mad.
ago, that his
Yeah,
mindset is he's living in the past.
yeah.
exactly.
And
I
so
agree.
Yeah.
yeah, and it brings us back again. What actions do we have left? I mean, some legislatures doing something, some aren't. North Carolina, they're about trying to take a Supreme Court seat by throwing out 68,000 votes. I saw that. Um, I don't know what our next actions are as citizens, other than things that can get a lot of people hurt. Because
Well, only thing I can
I
say, and I've been telling people, and I'm gonna mention this on my show as well, that number one is really important. You have to contact your local officials and express to them what's going on, and then let them know, hey, I'm concerned about this. What is the future gonna hold? Like for me, for instance, I'll be 60 years of age in September. And I got to think about on the guidelines about retirement. Is there going to be Social Security around by the time I get to retirement age, which will be 67?
uh, it should be. We should get it, but
But
it
leaving it up to Trump, you just don't know, because he's just, well, that's just an honorary ass character. I swear he is. He's just honorary.
yeah.
Hey,
Did you guys know Elon?
So
Yeah, Elon went to the World
but
Trade. I wanted to get into the bank, the World Banking system. He was trying to get information there. They turned him back.
Yeah, I heard that one.
What did you
Elon,
want with
Kind of
nobody
that?
likes
mess.
you.
That was insane. I
That's
mean,
deep.
what, now the one thing about Elon, he has said that this tariff thing is a bad thing.
It is.
That Trump should have zero tariffs on anything and free trade because it's going to cost him money. Um, and so right now, that's going to be things. There's a little bit of a disagreement against the girls. They're going to start fighting.
Yeah.
Um,
He's going to kick off a civil war, though. If you ask me, my personal opinion. I mean, if he goes through with these tariffs, he's going to start a civil war with these world leaders, and he do not want to mess with these world leaders at all.
I, I honestly
well,
think that's what he wants. I really do. For some reason, I really think
uh,
that's what he wants.
I mean, is he going to go to war? I don't know.
I mean, Will, let me ask you this. Do you think that he's going to
Yeah,
eventually try to call himself trying to start World War III just to stay in office a lot longer and delay his presidency? I think that's that's leading up to.
I don't. That's the thing. Right now, it's kind of we're waiting for the other shoe to drop economically. Right now, it's the beginning. As give us about 2 or 3 weeks, we get to the end of May, end of April, early May, when things start shooting through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's going to fall back on that. Is it a possibility? I mean, he's still threatening Greenland. That'll be fun because you attack Greenland, you're attacking Denmark, which means NATO. And I think NATO's more up to F it. We're going to do this. All right, JD, you have a good night. I'll talk to you later, brother. Um,
Good night, JD.
so,
Good, JD.
so it's like,
Nigel,
I mean, does he want a war? If he gets to that point, he needs one. He'll start one. Mexico, Greenland, Panama. I mean, they
He
keep
was trying to
threatening
start them
everyone.
tariffs with Canada, and Doug Ford was like, no, no. And I was like, you don't want to mess with that man.
So, I mean, the layoffs are coming. It's the point is, right now, the stock market is a future things. In other words,
Right.
they bet on the future. They
Exactly.
see it. They know what's going to happen, and then reality is going to roll up on people. Um, and yeah, Miss Lily makes you made a good comment, ma'am, about he's not going to live much longer.
No.
Have you seen the term? What is the one thing you want to happen in 2025? And everyone's like, they're not saying it. They're just kind of sitting there looking at the camera, going, "What do you think?"
I'm
And
been praying on world peace. That's my main prayer right now is world peace because it's too much chaos.
we're we were at peace,
Right. When Joe
and
Biden and his administration was active, absolutely, until once Trump came into office and got inaugurated, that's when all of a sudden just hell just broke loose all of it, just in one day. On Martin Luther King's day at that too.
yeah,
yeah,
that's when you seen signs in the sky when he got
What you say,
coming into
KRB?
office.
You say?
but
I said that's when the signs came in the sky. Everything
yeah,
Well, baby,
miscombobulated.
you
revelations.
know
They
what,
seeing everything
KRB?
in the sky.
Wait a minute,
So
KRB. And
Yeah,
contrary to popular opinion, I really believe that day Martin Luther King was turned over in his casket. I know he said, "Oh hell no, here we go."
TJ, on
here we
a
go
I'm
again.
just
union
saying.
base and on a industrial base, how bad can it get for those type of guys? I mean, industry. How bad can it get? Because I think they don't believe it could get that bad. A lot of union members don't. Um,
How bad could it get?
yeah, for
Well,
them.
I mean, already they basically said that AFGE doesn't exist.
Oh
They
wow.
they can't. They basically said all collective bargaining agreements within the federal government are not recognized anymore. So their collective bargaining agreements are null and void, and they no longer have to negotiate with AFGE as representation for government employees. So that if you read Project 2025, that's the plan. Is to suppress labor, and they'll start in the public sector. And once they do that in the public sector, then they'll go after the private sector, like my union. And
That's
the way
messed up.
and the way they'll do that is they'll try to pass national right to work, and that's how they're going to go after the private sector. They're going to try to dismantle the private sector unions that way. They've already tried to roll that out of committee. It hasn't gone anywhere. It hasn't been put on the floor. I don't know if it's gonna. I don't think that it would pass the Senate. I really don't think that they'd get 60 votes for that. No Democrats are going to vote for national right to work. But that's how they're going to start it. It's gonna filter down from the federal government into the private sector. Some of the unions that'll be affected be like SEIU, Service Employees International Union. Another one that'll be affected is AFSCME, American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees. They're going to be the first ones to feel the effect of it, and then it'll go down to other unions like, the construction trades unions, manufacturing, machinists, things like that. They'll filter that down. They'll start at the top with public sector and try to broaden that thing down into the private sector to totally eliminate unions.
And can I add?
DJ, can you? I'm sorry.
Ask if I
Can
can add
you?
some local news.
Go ahead, Miss Lloyd.
I'm sorry. Was there a question?
No, I
Yeah,
said I
Miss
was
Lloyd, go
asking
ahead.
about. Oh wow, I'm sorry.
TJ, can
Miss Lloyd,
you
go ahead.
explain what right to work is? Because that sounds like something completely different from what it really is.
Republicans always tend to give cutesy names or names that sound good to things that are really bad. Like, for example, Citizens United. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a really bad thing that they gave a name that sounds great, like Citizens United. Like if you went up to someone that didn't know fuck all about anything and you said, I think Citizens United is a great thing, they're going to agree with you because it sounds good, right? And it's the same for right to work. Right to work basically it eliminates the right to organize in the workplace. So you can have a union in the workplace, and you don't have to belong to it in a right to work state like Alabama, for example, is a right to work state. So they could have a union in the workplace. You don't have to belong to it. But here's the thing that's fucked up about the whole entire thing, is that I'm a union representative for a union. And if we have people that aren't part of the union, we call them fair share employees, which is kind of a joke because they don't pay anything. But even though they're not members of the union, if they get in trouble, or if they whenever the contract comes up, I have to negotiate or represent them on their behalf, even though they pay zero fucking union dues. Now think about that for a second.
What the hell?
Think about that for a second. If that's not fucking socialism, they don't even realize it. That is socialism. They're getting representation for no cost. They're not paying a single dime for the union to represent them, but we have to anyway by labor law. Labor law dictates that no matter if they're a fair share employee, we have to represent them. That's no joke.
I would never.
The entire blue hell is really going the hell on.
I tell you one thing, I've been a union rep in a meeting, and if I got one of those, I would say, okay, I'm here.
But you can't. Yeah. Well, yeah. But you got to be careful. Well, I agree with you. I agree with you, but you have to be careful because I'm not going to end up in jail because I did something wrong. You know what I mean?
But that's sad.
But that is the sad reality. Now, that doesn't mean if I have a grievance, I have to do my best to represent them. I I can just do what I gotta, I can do what's necessary. You
The
know what I
bare
mean?
minimum.
Wow.
But you got to be careful because in that scenario, they can file a claim against you in the National Labor Relations Board, or they can file a charge against you in your state labor relations board. So you have to be very tactful and make it look like you're doing your due diligence. So
So basically, it's a way, Missouri is a way for people, for unions not to get dues, so people still represent them, and that usually means
it
unions can't do business because there's no money for
it
the
it,
union
bas-
because that's
it
what that's what you
basically
use.
it basically disables rights to organize and rights for representation. That's what right to work does. It's not right to work. It's right to work for less. That that's
Yep.
that's what it truly is. It's truly right to work for less because non-union employees compared to union employees make between 20 and 30% less money between wages and benefits.
Right.
So it's right to work for
Right.
less.
Well, and isn't it also right to fire for the employee?
Yes.
Employer?
Yes, they can fire you arbitrarily for any reason.
That's the law called at will, because I know that's definitely active here in Illinois.
Yeah, that's what we have in Washington. They
Yeah.
don't like the way you look, hit the road.
Now, here's a question for y'all. How many of you think that they actually added 228,000 jobs last month?
Where did that come from? Is
Was
that
that-
the new jobs report?
That's the jobs report.
No comment.
But they didn't subtract the ones that they fired. I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure
that's what I was
that wasn't part of the number.
But I
Wow.
can't.
What sectors?
Right, exactly. I can't see what sectors it would even be in. They showed some of them.
It's got to be private money somewhere. Maybe a couple of I don't know, some kind of food plant added employees or something like that. But 200,000 and 330 million people, that's like nothing, It's nothing.
Will, can I
Wow,
ask you?
that's kind of. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I don't know if you heard this or not. I read this morning. After I fed my pets, I was reading this morning that our mayor in Chicago is planning on suing Donald Trump because they had put a freeze on froze the funding for the Chicago public schools, and Brandon Johnson said, "I'm suing them," and I was like, "Damn." I was just like,
And
I'm like, what is really going the hell on?
and Trump's response is, "Get in line."
Yeah, I know,
I mean,
right?
and it's like, I mean, the Governor Pritzker has already said, "Dude, you owe us money. You cut
Oh,
off money
they
that was already
pissed. They're
dedicated to the
pissed.
state."
They are pissed.
Yeah. So
I'm like, what in the fuck is really going on with this government?
it's a dismantling of the federal government on a level I've never seen. A lot of this is trying to ending the New Deal. That a lot of the stuff that you see, a lot of the federal government coming apart were established by the New Deal, and then later during Johnson's war on poverty, they're basically taking out the support systems in the word that we're going to run a more efficient government. But you're not running an efficient government when you fire 100,000 people out of the NIH, CDC, and FDA, including people whose job was to make sure, keep an eye on, diseases. That tells you everything you need to know. And one thing I wanted to bring up, and I made this comment the other day, was I'm watching baseball on Sunday, and right in the middle of the Dodger game with the Phillies, there's a commercial that pops up, and it shows seniors' benefits are in danger to be taken away. And the next scene is Joe Biden in a background picture with John Ossoff, one of my senators here in Georgia. And so what they say is like John Ossoff is voting to cut seniors' benefits. I'm going, what?
Out of here.
And no, it gets better. Then they say they stopped, taking away seniors' benefits, taking away Social Security, taking away research in the medical. Stop John Ossoff. Then it gets better. Tell him to stop the climate con, and don't vote to take away seniors' benefits. And I'm sitting there watching this commercial who played at least 4 times during the game,
Mhm.
and my jaw fell out going, that's the narrative. It's not Trump, it's not Doge, it's not Elon Musk, it's whoever. I mean, put in your senator, and it's always Joe Biden's fault because they had Joe Biden in the background.
Right.
Here we
Hey,
go.
But it's not
hey,
his fault though because
Go
he's
ahead.
not in office anymore. It's
I
Trump.
know that. I
Yeah.
know that. Yeah, TJ.
hey, y'all, I gotta bounce. I got work to finish up, so I'll
All
catch
right,
you
have
guys
fun.
later.
Thank you, TJ, for showing up.
I'll
I'll
keep you
catch you
guys
later.
keep
No
you
problem.
Be
updated
See you,
safe.
Will.
about my
See you
show.
guys. Bye bye.
All right.
Okay.
All right, Cooper. You want to talk on that? Yeah, sure. Hold on one moment. Let me get you up.
That's just freaking believable.
Yeah, it was like a campaign commercial, a bad
Wow.
campaign commercial. I saw a lot of those at the end of the election in Georgia where Elon was pumping all that money.
Huh.
All right. I'm sorry. Is that Cooper? I can't read. Sorry, sir.
It's Ryder. But
Hi, how you doing, brother? Sorry about that.
hey, it's good. It's good. It's good. What are we talking about currently? I didn't hear the full conversation.
Oh, I was just
Well,
talking
I'm
about a
explaining to how it started. I was explaining to Will because I'm from Chicago, and I was
Mm.
telling him that I read this morning that our mayor in Chicago is planning on suing Donald Trump, and the reason being because he's freezing funding for the towards the Chicago public schools. And I'm like, this is freaking insane. So he said Trump's response was get in line, and then that's when he went from there.
Mm. Oh damn.
I was like,
That's
damn, what's next?
Well, I mean, he's literally all the funds have been frozen. They haven't. They were supposed to release, never released them. So, sir, you said you wanted to speak on the subject. What did you want to talk about, Ryder?
the social
What's your on your mind?
Trump trying to cut Social Security.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's terrible. Like, I'm scared for my grandma, man. Like, I don't know how she's gonna get her money to like feed herself and all that. It's getting bad.
Wow.
Yeah, and the thing about it, Trump keeps saying he's not going to cut Social Security, but he keeps saying, "But if there's fraud, I'm going to do something."
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, he always will find fraud. The other thing too is they've been cutting Social Security's operations with a lot of people, and so it may be de facto
Wow.
that people won't get their checks. I'm hoping not. I hope he doesn't get that way, but I don't know. It's a hard thing to say because your grandmother earned that money. It's
Yeah.
her money.
Hmm.
And that's the one thing I will say. I think even though a lot of things aren't looking good, and the judicial, the one thing that Trump should not have done is messing with people's money,
Exactly.
because that everyone and no one wants. It's literally, where's my money? Where's my money? That's my money, and that's what they say. I saw someone made a comment about the protests were white people over 50. Yeah, because he's taking their money.
Yeah.
Where's my money? Where's my money?
Well,
I mean, it.
I
Go
did
ahead.
get my check. I get my check. I'm supposed to get it the second Wednesday. I actually get it the Saturday before because of my bank and all that kind of stuff. So I did get mine this month. So we'll see how it goes for everybody else.
Right.
So they're already
And
messing with us to get Social Security. It's like I had to go through this long, like, took me about a half an hour to deal with this whole picture ID thing before they'd send out the check. It
Yeah,
was
I know
like
what he's talking about. You're talking about a verification, and you
yeah,
need to
that
do
was
it
it. Some
online, or you have to go into
verification
the
deal,
office. And I'm
and it's
sitting up there
like,
going like, half of those seniors probably don't even have access to a computer. And then in terms of going into the office, he done laid off, he done closed, I don't know how many offices and laid off how many Social Security workers. And I'm like, that just doesn't make sense.
well, and it's like the photo ID thing they use. It's like you take a picture of your driver's license, right?
Right.
And then
Mhm.
you take a selfie. And if that selfie don't look like your driver's license, you're screwed. You're going to the office. And what I had to do, it's like I had to take my glasses off and, like kind of push my beard back and stuff so that I matched the picture that's on my. I mean, it took me like
I got a
five
question.
tries to do this. And
Wow.
it's like, how's somebody that's 90 years old going to deal with this?
Hey, Mr. Slave, I
Yeah,
have a
Ryder.
question.
No, that 90-year-old dude is going to get on his walker and go down to the Social Security office and sit there on his ass for probably 6 hours before he gets somebody that can actually help him out.
System, right.
Ryder,
Ryder,
you had a question for Mr. Suave? Go ahead.
All right. So I heard about all that stuff. Have you heard the new outrageous songs that have been made by Kanye West? As of
No,
number three. Like, I'm not trying to be
But,
mean.
but
Like,
yeah,
it's
not a
terrible.
Kanye fan.
Yeah, me neither. It's terrible, terrible lyrics. He's referring to Hitler. He's saying he's a KKK member.
Can't say that word. Can't say that word. They
Oh,
find it. You got it. You got it.
yeah.
He
Already,
must not be named.
already
TikTok
getting
shop. TikTok shop.
yep. Ryder, how old are you, hon?
old enough.
No, I mean,
No, don't worry about it, brother. We're good.
because you seem like you're interested in all this, so we sort of want to
I'm
know
sorry,
where you
dude.
fall. Are
It's
you
so
old enough to
funny when
vote
I
yet?
hear that these days.
Nah.
No? Okay. Well, I mean, it's good that you're getting involved at a young age and trying to figure this stuff out.
right.
And I really, I'm glad to see someone young that's trying to do that.
I'm worried about their grandmother. Appreciate
Yes,
that.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
get it. I definitely get it.
Boston Dave came up, wanted to request about talking about Social Security. But I do, him, brother. First time, a long
Hey,
time,
yeah.
I guess. Hi.
Yeah, actually, first time on. Can you guys hear me okay?
How you
Yeah,
doing,
we're good.
Dave?
Go ahead.
I'm doing all right. How's everybody doing here?
Okay.
So yeah, the thing I was thinking about is I keep laughing how they keep saying we're not touching Social Security, we're not touching Medicare, but yet they're getting rid of all the infrastructure that you need to be able to reach people to actually claim these benefits. So
Mhm.
I was thinking about the analogy for it was kind of like you could say, okay, kind of bear with me here, but if you look at it like if you said, okay, we're not going to touch Fort Knox's gold, but yet then you encased the whole thing in uranium and made it so that nobody could get to it. That's kind of the equivalent of what they're doing. They're saying, yeah, we're not going
Pretty
to
much.
touch the entitlement funds, but we're gonna basically handicap everybody to a point where you can't get to it to get your services, which is insane.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave real quickly. I gotta go clean my room and that kind of thing. Y'all have an amazing day.
Take care,
All
Ryder.
right.
Take
Good
care of
night,
yourself,
Ryder.
brother.
Thank you.
Hey. That makes me feel good. I'm
Yeah, that's
sorry.
awesome. That's the future of the country. That's
because,
fantastic.
because a lot of those, I mean, I knew he was young, but when we start talking about, I'm worried about my grandmother, I'm going, oh, oh, young
So, yeah.
man, you're on the right track. I
Yeah,
love
no,
that.
that's good. Yep.
All right.
So yeah, so
Yeah,
I just yeah, I just wanted to bring
okay,
that point
Boston.
up is just the fact that they're doing so much to hinder people's ability to get to these services. It basically renders them so, but the big lie is we're not going to touch the funding. We're just going to make it so that you can't get to it.
But we still pay our taxes into the
Totally.
system.
Yeah.
And,
That's
and that goes back to where's my money? Because it's my money. And that's the thing. It's like even, and then the 401k thing and the stock market is still the same thing. Where's my money? What are you doing to my money? And don't try to sell me you're helping me out. You're not. That's literally someone mugging me mugging me in the middle of Atlanta and saying I'm helping you out because I'm taking the wallet off your wallet so you don't have to carry that weight.
Mhm.
Okay? By the way, take this with you. The hospital's down the street. It, it just,
That's sickening.
it's insane.
That is
But it's
crazy.
insane because, and the cruelty is the point because you're seeing people talking about their children who are disabled can't get into school districts anymore because the DOE, because the Department of Education's gone, the
Yeah.
funding's gone, schools don't want to deal with them, so you're on your own. Um, Again, the due process thing, and I think as we're coming to an end, I want to talk about this. The idea that someone can be arrested without due process because someone says they're illegal is wrong. Because the Constitution doesn't work like that. And you tell someone says, well, they're illegal. Great, but they can prove they're legal. Well, they got to go to a court for due process to do that. But they just arrest people to do this in mass. And no one in the Supreme Court supporting the Aliens Enemies Act is a scary thing because who's an enemy now? Who is an enemy?
Well, the
That's a
thing
good
too,
Who is
though,
an
is
question.
that
enemy?
that's a foundational principle for the country is due
Yeah.
process. Because if
Exactly.
you look at, you had kings and tyrants putting people into prison without any due process, and that was something that they really wanted to have a core principle here, so that people could have their, being go before a judge and jury of your peers. That's a foundational building block for this country, and for that to
Right.
get thrown out the window is insane.
And the thing about it is that, but the way they word it is as if they're doing you a favor because
Mm,
we're doing it to those illegal folk.
mm.
Yeah, I mean, literally had an Indiana congresswoman say, "Well, if you're illegal, you don't have rights." No, you do. The Constitution says
Yeah,
that.
you
The
do.
Because how do you
Constitution
know? How
says
do you
that, but
know if
they're
somebody's legal or not without due process?
bingo.
If
That's
they
why
have the
that guy
proper
is in.
paperwork and they can prove that they're a citizen, then that's it.
Exactly.
That's why there's a guy in frickin'
El
um
Salvador, right?
El
Yeah,
Salvador
I was
who's a
gonna. I
legal
think you
alien
must of that.
that
Yeah.
yeah the Trump administration admits they made a mistake, but they're fighting him, bringing him back because they can't do anything because he's in El Salvador now. Also,
Do you
right
know
now,
why they don't
also,
want to
And
bring
the
them
court, I
back?
think the judge had told him said that he got until midnight to bring him back to the states,
and
but
then
he
John
should have never
Roberts
been
said
deported in the
no,
first place.
Yeah, and then John
Yeah,
and
they
Roberts.
John
paused.
Roberts
They
said
paused
no.
that. Yeah, I don't think that's
Yeah.
permanent though. I think that was just a temporary pause,
But
which
then you
still is
bring
not.
back
It's
Why they
not
don't
good, but
want
yeah,
them
yeah,
back,
but yeah,
no,
right?
it's not good.
No, it's
It's
not.
scary,
yeah. It's very
and the
scary.
oh, and the people are just. I mean, the family's distraught. The administration said they make a mistake. Then they're saying, "Oh well, he's in El Salvador." And the thing that I want everyone, you got to understand: when do we send people to foreign jails?
Mm.
When did
Shouldn't
that
happen.
become a practice in the United
That
States?
is not our
I didn't even
style.
know we had an agreement like that. They've been
I
doing
didn't
this
know
shit
either.
for months behind our backs. I
The
mean,
other thing,
El Salvador?
the other thing that's crazy
I'm
with the
sorry.
individual, the one that got sent back that you were talking about a second ago, the innocent one, he
Mm-hmm.
was the reason he had legal protective status because there was concerns that he was not in a gang, and because if he got sent back to El Salvador, there was concerns because he was from there, that if he got sent back there,
Right.
that the people that were in gangs that were trying to recruit him and he did not go for it and left the country would harass him and potentially put him in, and now he's in that prison. And I think that's one of the things that's making it so that he can't come back, is that if they try to either the gangs do something violently against him, or the fact that it's El Salvador, if they try to conjure up some sort of court thing to say no, he's a criminal here too, that complicates things too, which is but he shouldn't have gone there in the first place.
He should have never been deported.
Never.
And again, like you said, Dave, where's his due process? Okay, he's arrested. We're accusing him of being this, and that. Great. Get him in front of a judge. Let's hear a hearing. But they're
Absolutely,
not
show
doing that.
evidence.
People are being arrested, shackled, and shipped away in the same day.
See, I
That
don't.
poor a PhD student.
Yeah, I
Mm.
don't
Where is
think they're
she? I
using the
don't know where
word.
she's at now. Do you?
The problem is they're not using the word arrested. These people are being detained and questioned.
Mm.
That's
That's a little bit pregnant.
yeah. Well, exactly. But
Mm.
that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to use terms that they can say, oh, well, they're not being arrested. They're just being detained and questioned.
Okay. And
Well,
then the one
if
thing
they're being
today,
detained and questioned, then why do they ship this young man to El Salvador in the first place?
Because
bingo. But
he's
it
being
Exactly.
detained there.
Get the hell out of here.
and
No
and the
disrespect
other thing
towards you,
too.
Oliver's mom. I'm just saying it's
Oh, I
just,
know. And
the
I'm
principle and the
Yeah.
process of it. It just, that wasn't handled
And to
properly.
answer your
exactly. And I'm
and
just playing
answer
devil's advocate by
Jan
giving you the terms they're
to
using.
answer
That's
your
all.
question in the chat, as long as they want,
Oh,
because
wow.
ICE
Exactly.
has no. The ICE has basically become the new American secret police.
Mm.
If look up what happened in Argentina, look what happened in Chile. during the time of dictatorships and it disappeared.
That's
That's
crazy.
all you got to know what they're doing with ICE. It's
And
scary.
we're going to get more and
Oh,
more
and
people
you
that are
got
going
the
to be
dumbest
disappeared.
motherfucker. You got the dumbest person in charge of ICE in Holman. It's like
Yeah, but he's
Sergeant
got it.
Schultz,
We
like
But
really got to
understand.
pray for America now because this is a hot mess.
But I will tell you one thing. It's not Holman. Holman's the face of it. Stephen Miller,
oh
that
Mm.
yeah,
the yeah, the reincarnation, literally the reincarnation of Heinrich Himmler is the one behind all this. He's the one running this. This is what he wants for so long. He is the one behind all this. And so the point being is, um, they plan this, and this all of a sudden ICE becomes hidden. ICE is got all this power which they shouldn't have, and they're avoiding the Constitution, and they're going to start picking people up if they determine you to be an enemy. And here's even better: today, Marco Rubio revoked the visas of every South Sudanese in the United States. People who fled a war-torn country have been told to go back to said war-torn country.
Ugh.
And that, I mean, here we are again. Hey, Sue, how you doing? Sue,
Oh, sorry. I
hi.
was mistake. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. But like, because it's the cruelty is the point. Why are you getting rid of what? There's no reason to get rid of those people. They were brought here for their safety, because that's what we were supposed to be as an America. And I don't get these guys because it doesn't benefit the United States.
Uh-oh, she dropped
And
off.
yeah, well, she said she made a mistake. We're
Oh,
good. Um, and that's what is so unnerving is that we become so cruel. When do we
Yeah,
become
it's
the
like
baddies?
yeah, it's like,
gleeful
where's the
cruelty.
human decency at?
Yeah, it's gleeful cruelty is what I've been referring to it as. It's insane to watch because it's so uncharacteristic of what we were supposed to be as a country.
And to watch, and the thing about it is, MAGA, the true hardcore MAGA, love it, and I don't know why.
Mm.
Oh, that's fine. So I get you, but it's just crazy. I don't want my country to be like this. Why is my country like this?
I don't know.
My country was not that. It wasn't perfect. I know that. I mean, I
But it
lived
was
in
in
L.A.
a hell of a
during
lot better
the
shape than it
Rodney.
was versus now.
I was in L.A. during the Rodney King riots. I know what goes on. I
Yeah,
mean, George Floyd. We know that, but we've always tried to move forward. This is the first time I've seen in ever that we've moved backwards.
well, there used to
Absolutely backwards.
yeah, there used to be a term that went around, pick a better country. Well, I can pick a lot of better countries right now, unfortunately. But there was a time when you couldn't. You couldn't really pick a better country than the U.S.
Yeah, but at this point, no. Educational wise, economic wise,
Mhm.
culture wise, and the point with the United States too, we
Hmm.
don't have one culture. We're Americans. We believe in the Constitution and freedom and the rule of law. Well, our cultures are a mixture of everything. They want us to have one culture, and that isn't going to work because we're not one culture.
No, we're
We're just
not.
one country.
Well, that became evident when they passed or he signed the executive order saying that English was the language of this country, the official language. I mean, they don't want
Yeah,
anybody to speak anything else.
And then I read some over the weekend that really disturbed me, where Trump was talking about he wants all the federal workers to have Christian, be under the Christian religion, and any other
Mm.
religion that a person practice, they're going to be terminated. And I'm sitting back going, now wait a minute, this man just
is
converted to be a Jew back in 2017. You know, get the hell out of here with that.
that's a violation of the First Amendment. Oh, I'm sorry, that's
Exactly.
Constitution.
You know,
You
that's just
can't.
like saying if I apply for a federal job and I'm a Nichiren Buddhist, and if he finds out I'm a Buddhist, so you going to terminate me because I'm a Buddhist? Hell no.
I mean, that's the thing. We've gone backwards. I
Right.
mean, teaching. He was talking about the NRLB. I don't think there's an NRLB anymore. That's the thing. All these things that were in place are gone in less than 90 days, in a little over 90 days.
I really
So
feel
that
that he's
leaves,
trying to eliminate the Constitution. No, he feels that, you know, all us as a country, we don't have any rights, and it's like it's either his way or the highway.
yeah, well, I don't think Americans are going to capitulate. And they're waiting for us to capitulate.
I'm not.
A lot of and a lot of people right now are kind of writing it out, but give it give it another month, and then when things start to happen, when you cannot buy certain things, they're very expensive. I mean, as Aaron Parnas said, toilet paper is going to get really expensive soon.
Yes,
Yep,
sir.
it is.
Again, um, and people are starting to hoard certain things. I work in the car industry, car insurance industry. People are buying. We're buying cars like earlier, the late March because they're trying to beat the tariffs because they know it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and the
so, go ahead, Dave.
I was going to say that the yeah, I'm the king of analogies here tonight, but the other analogy I said is that right now I feel like we're in the situation where somebody has ripped out the table from under a bunch of place settings and everything's still hovering in the air, and we're in that split second before it all starts coming crashing down to the ground. You know, I'd said that down in the comments earlier, but I feel like that's where we're at right
Yeah,
now.
Well, I
and we just let the and go ahead. I'm sorry, Kim.
there was a someone made a comment. It might have been something that I saw on TV. You know, they're trying to bring all of this manufacturing back to the United States. Okay, what person is going to want to sit in a factory and make socks and T-shirts? And how much is that then going to cost us when it's not being made in China and Taiwan and places like that?
Totally.
And going
Yeah,
just
and
to
it's
what
a
I
good.
said though, Trump is thinking his mindset, he's thinking in the past, like in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s. He's not thinking on the guidelines, hey, you know, times have changed and things have changed, you know, people have changed.
Right. And I want to explain and explain that to Nike. Please explain that to Nike.
Uh-oh.
How they're going to make their shoes in the United States. I'm just waiting. Go
Yeah, and
ahead.
I think there's some place to have some items moved back because like chips. I think everybody can agree like strategically having some micro, you know, and there's the Chips Act. I know about that, but I'm just saying strategically
Which
trying
they're
to bring
trying to
some of those.
remove.
Yeah, yeah, I know. But I'm just saying trying to bring some of that stuff back makes sense, but you're not going to bring everything back. It's never going to be like it was,
Oh, hell
Oh,
and it doesn't
and
make
they keep
sense to.
saying, but keep saying, well, they're going to build it here. Well, how? Well, we'll build
Yeah,
factories,
how long is that
but
going
you
to take?
don't just, you know, I mean, and as one person made a good comment, and this is a good little video. Yeah, but you need the lumber, you need the
Hmm.
steel. Some of it's got to come, and that's the thing. They have sold you, not America first, but America alone. But America doesn't work like that. It's never ever. Let's put this kind of put this to bed tonight. They keep going after trade. How long has trade been part of the world?
huh.
Oh yeah,
Centuries, centuries.
Hmm.
Millennia.
You go back to you go back to the China. Everyone traded from the Fertile Crescent to all the empires to the Chinese. Marco Polo went to China. What did he end up opening? Trade routes. The Silk Road. The British Empire was built on fucking tea. Trade. Trade. Why was there explorers that discovered America? They were looking for trade routes.
yeah. They were looking for
Trade.
a quicker trade route. They thought that they could go around that way instead of
Right.
going the other way.
That man is
And
insane.
so and then so Trump to sit up there and going trade is a bad thing because doesn't work like that. Trade has been going along for centuries. You cannot, no one ever in the history of the civilization on this planet has ever been able to do everything self-sufficient. They
It's not
always
gonna
traded with
happen.
others.
It's not gonna
Even when
happen.
you're with the first people sitting around a fire with farms, the first settlements traded with other settlements. You have this, we do that. That's always been part of the world. And this man who has never built a bloody thing in his life is now telling us, I'm going to fix you. Fix what? For whom?
I'm gonna have to
And the
agree with
thing,
what D said though. That he said that Alzheimer's is what's happening with the president. He's sundown, and I said, "Damn,
yeah,
Hmm.
he's sundowning with power.
yeah, that man
And,
is straight up delusional."
But there are
you know,
certain things that we can't get anywhere else. I mean, what's going to happen when
coffee.
we can't get coffee because we're only going to get the stuff that's made within our country?
So, someone actually said, this is a quote from someone in a comic. Someone said, we have to get coffee. He goes, yeah, well, we have like Folgers people that make the coffee here. And the person said, yeah, but where did they get the beans, fool?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, there are people out
Good
there who don't
question.
understand, really, literally, there are people out there that don't understand that beef comes from a cow, from a, from a
Yeah.
steer, from a bull, from a cow. They think that you
And
just go to the grocery store. It's there all the time.
Grow some beef butches.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, they don't get it.
and that's the thing. It's going to get, I mean, coffee. I mean, people like going to Starbucks. I do. But when your tiny thing is $10, what are you going to do? There, and that's the thing. I'm waiting for companies. They're not saying anything yet, but I'm waiting for companies to finally go, no, no, we can't do this anymore because it's going to cost them money. They keep waiting. They keep thinking it's going to benefit them because all the tax cuts. What good is taxes going to have you when your business is gone? When people aren't buying your products? When it costs too much to do business? Everything's interrelated, and that's the biggest problem we have when you have a narcissist in charge. Everything revolves around him, so he thinks that he's the center of the universe, so he controls all of it. Nothing's interrelated. Doesn't if it doesn't come through him. He doesn't understand that people share things. He doesn't understand win-win. Because to Trump, everything's win-lose. Win-lose. That's not how you run businesses. That's how you kill businesses. And we've seen that. Because the one thing I always bring about Trump, who the hell bankrupts a fucking casino?
I know.
Uh-oh.
I mean, who does it? No one. I mean, the casinos that went down in Vegas because they were old. Time's up, but I'll guarantee you they were still making money on the tables because the house always wins.
Right, but they wanted to make
But
more money, so they had to get rid of the
right,
old ones and build the new.
exactly. But who does that? And he showed up in Atlantic City and ruined Atlantic City. He ruined that city.
Yes, he did.
They ruined everything for everyone down there, and it went from a place that people would look at to go gamble as a different alternative in the East Coast to basically an afterthought. It's not worth going to anymore. He ruins everything he touches, and the problem is, and I'm going to end this tonight, guys, and I appreciate it. Boston Davis, good to meet you, brother. Don't be a stranger. I
Yeah,
really
yeah,
appreciate
definitely.
you. You guys are
Yeah,
good
I'm actually
kids.
gonna. I do need to cut out, but thanks again. It was great to meet
No
everybody, and
problem.
yeah, you guys all have a great night.
Yep.
Thank you. Kim,
Well,
I appreciate you.
Thanks,
See,
when we
guys.
come
yes,
close to
ma'am.
the end, can I read? I want to read something that be some sort of, something positive to try to lift everybody's minds to stay positive because everything was going on as a hot mess.
Yes, ma'am.
No, I just wanted to read something, towards the close of this of the show.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, man.
Okay. This is just something that I gathered from the late and great Tina Turner, and then it kind of inspired me. And in one of her videos, she said that prayer clears the mind and brings back peace to the soul. Go beyond the oneness of the unity. Take the journey inside of you to become quiet to hear the beyond. So at this point, we have to really
Oh, that's
go,
awesome.
beyond, go beyond.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that we all do this because eventually it gets out there and we're getting louder than them. History is still going to be on our side. We'll be around to see it. I don't know, but we got to keep going and move forward. Um, eventually America will figure it out because you can't con everyone all the time.
No.
Con man's games end, and eventually he's going to catch up with him.
And just
I
like Cory
don't
Booker
want
said, we got to stay in the fight.
stay in the fight. And Cory Booker set a good example that other Democrats need to press on.
He was
And
fantastic.
hopefully we can. It was fantastic. But I appreciate you guys coming in tonight. I'm going to have this up on YouTube at Binder38US as soon as it downloads. You can find me at Binder38US here at YouTube, on YouTube, here on TikTok. I want to get to 5,000 followers between now and the next 75 days for the next extension.
Right,
So,
right.
but
I feel you.
you guys, all right, you guys take care. Thank you for holding the fort, and we'll talk to you soon. Please,
And I'll
please
keep
be
you
safe
guys
out there,
updated
y'all.
about my show, though. Like I said, if that age requirement verification don't go through, then I'll go directly to YouTube. But
Okay.
Okay,
I'll let you know
outstanding.
by tomorrow.
All right.
Okay, cool.
Good night,
All right, you guys
everybody.
be safe. Be safe. Take care.
Have
Bye
a good
bye.
night.
Night.